Who will be, I'm not going to introduce all of you, who will be moderating our panel.
Thank you, everybody. Again, Jeff Padita, Executive Director for Curriculum Instruction for Jeffco Public Schools, and I just am thrilled to have you all here. I really do appreciate your time. I'm going to have the panelists go down the row and introduce themselves, and then we'll go ahead and get started.
Nicole Weisman, Wheatridge Mayor, Human Resources.
Allie Curran, a student at Wheatridge High School, student intern.
Kate Verba, I'm a student at Dawson Valley, and I'm interning at Lakewood Core.
I'm Greg Machado with the University of Colorado Denver, and I work in web services and manage operations and development.
I'm Dylan Beach. I work at CU Denver, along with being a Red Rocks Community College student.
Hi, I'm Laura Morris, and I lead the web services at the University of Colorado Denver. We also have responsibility for the Anschutz campus as well.
All right, thank you. We will go ahead and get started. Our first question, how did the conversation about work-based learning, internships, or apprenticeships occur for each of you? So how did that start for you? And we'll start with anybody who would like to go first.
Gee, I'm always so shy. And today we won't make you hold hands with us while we do this. In our university, the chancellor has a special, I guess, focus on how do we, at least the Denver chancellor has a special focus on how do we engage with our audience, how do we build our pipeline, as well as our CFO. And so they were aware of the CareerWise program and really were instrumental in bringing it down within the organization. So that was the starting point for us with joining forces with this fine young man.
Any of the students, how did you get started, find out about the internships?
So it all started my junior year. I was in a math class, and originally my senior year I was going to do a construction class for my last credit. So I talked to her about that. We had a pretty good relationship, and eventually she ended up calling my mom to tell her I got accepted into the class. My mom was like, "It's a high school class, how was she accepted?" And they got into a conversation that it's Career Explorer, and they started talking more about the different parts of it, and that's when they got into healthcare, and that's what I'm into, or was into. So I came in and talked to Ms. Marquez, and we just discussed like the different changes that would go on. Like I wouldn't be in school 24/7, I would be outside of school and in school, so it would be like a combination. And it was a lot to wrap my head around, but I signed up and the adventure began.
So for me, I went to Warrior Tech, and when I was there, I was in the computer science program, and my teacher actually made me aware of the CareerWise program, and some representatives from CareerWise came over and actually allowed us to set up our resume and stuff, and then submit our applications, and then I submitted my application to CU Denver. I did pretty much the entire process all on my own, and handled everything from getting the interview set up, which started with a phone interview, and then an in-person interview, and I handled everything by myself pretty much. I let my dad know what was going on, but I had the maturity to actually take care of setting everything up, and I felt good about that too.
Okay, my story's not that interesting. I kind of learned about the executive high school internship through friends who were seniors at the time. And when I got the letter, I knew that I wanted to do it, and I went to the meeting and I learned more about it. And it sounded like a really good opportunity to make sure that the path that I thought I wanted to follow, which is forensic psychology, is really the one that I want. I talked it over with my mom, and I signed up, did the application, and then did the in-person interview, and then I was placed at the Lakewood Municipal Court, and I've been interning there 4 weeks now, and it's been really fun.
Thank you. And students, your stories are always interesting for all of us, so we greatly appreciate it. I want to hear from the students. Explain some of the hands-on experiences you're able to do while participating in the work that you're doing now. So what is that? What's some of that hands-on work that you're doing?
So for me, I'm a junior coder, so starting off, yeah, so before I even got the job, Rick gave me an email stating some things that I should know before I get in. So I took some online courses, learning about a programming language called C# and some other things. And then as I started to work, over the course of my job, I've been writing testing scripts. I created a few scripts that actually hold what students were registered in classes for the summer semester, and we showed that to the students so they knew in real time how many students were actually registered for the classes and how many spots were still open. And I've just done some other small programming scripts, and I worked on the net price calculator, which was federally mandated, and found an issue with that. Saved us from a lot of money. Yeah, saved a lot of money for the institution. Just some other programming things here and there. Right now, we're in the process of what's called a sprint, so it's agile development, and every month we have a list of tasks that we have to do, and we work together as a team to develop new features for our clients. So right now, I'm just making testing scripts. So that way we can make sure that the newest version of our platform that we're going to release, probably next month, is going to work fine for everybody and there's no bugs.
I usually sit in and observe. The court has 3 divisions and all of them are doing something different going on with traffic and criminal cases. And then there's also days where there's public defenders to represent those who can't afford their own attorney. And then we also have video hearings with people who are actually in jail at Jeffco. And I get to see a lot of that. There's a lot of different types of people who committed different crimes, and how we deal with them is sometimes very interesting. Some people are surprisingly okay when they realize there's been a warrant out for their arrest, or they have a bond and they didn't show up and they lost the money. And it's kind of just, it's something new every day, and it's just interesting.
I had an internship at Christopher House, a long-term living facility in Wheat Ridge. That facility in particular is very focused on the big picture. So we did 2-week rotations through every position in the nursing home. I did housekeeping, medical records, dietary, and many other things. One thing that I learned while working in everything is that every piece of the puzzle is important. Like, that place will collapse if not everyone is 100% dedicated to their jobs. While going through the rotations, I also did, I shadowed CNAs, which is what I'm going into. And I got to see what they were doing on a daily basis, and I got to help the residents. I learned many things, even from the residents themselves, and it was just really an amazing experience.
Thank you. I'll be thinking about questions that you will be having, that you may have for our panelists, but we're going to open up the questions here in a few moments. So, industry partners, we'll talk a little bit about any of the cultural shifts or changes that occur because you have student interns working with you in your division.
I'll take this one. Yes.
Great.
But you add to it more. It's really interesting having Dylan work with us because Dylan is the target audience for the university, right? The state's population. So it's really interesting to be able to use him as a reference point to say, are we targeting we run a content management system and targeting student journey information and things like that we're building out for the university. And so he's a go-to guy who can start talking about those things and he can help also bring new ideas, new technologies, new ways to approach the projects. And then his vision, Laura and I were just talking a little bit earlier before we started the panel, the new workforce, the Dylans, the Kates, specifically Dylan, we have to recognize that he's 18 now and he comes to us with 10 years of programming experience or more, which is not traditional programming experience. He did not go to an academic institution for that. So he actually brings a new way of working in the organization, actually really pushes us quite a bit. So it's been a very good positive change, I think, culturally I don't know how many Dylans are out there. We'll take 6 or 7 more, though. Maybe more than that. For the organization, though, it was difficult because I don't think, while we had leadership that was really interested in bringing the internship and apprenticeship program in, we weren't really staffed and physically ready for taking on that type of program. So CareerWise at least had a framework that we could work within. But I think we have, as we move forward, as we mature as an institution, taking on more apprentices, we really have some work to do to make sure it's a little more smooth and readily available for the students to come in and actually be a little more seamless than it probably was this year.
I would say that he's definitely the guinea pig, sorry Dylan. But I think it has made us look at how we assimilate people into the organization more, even with our team. I mean, this week, I think this is a positive thing. So this week, I had one of my senior developers say, hey, I really trust him now. Now I can give him X, Y, and Z more. So I'd like to get there even faster. So it helps us figure out how do we assimilate people in, how do we make sure, even from a hiring practice, you know, want to get Dylan involved with even hiring because he has a different perspective on who his teammates are. So it's been a very positive cultural shift for us, and it does keep us on our toes and keeps us fresh, honestly. You stay in it, you know, we've been in careers a long time. You get somebody who's new to the workforce, it forces you to see things differently, and that's a really positive thing.
So in our organization, we had to get a commitment from our staff at all levels to maintain that teaching mentality as we're bringing these young people in. We want to be committed to showing them how to care for our customers the right way, how to learn from each other and really embrace the career opportunities that they can have working in long-term care.
Thank you. The next question is for any of the panelists, and it's just, what are the challenges that you may faced in getting this to be a successful experience? So it's okay to be honest and open. I think that's what we're here to hear, is what are some of those challenges you run into?
So one of the biggest challenges I had was getting my schedule right, because I was a senior in high school and my counselor from Columbine was here, and she really helped me a lot in making sure that my schedule was flowing and just checking in on me, because I had a lot on my plate. I was also going to Warren Tech at the same time, so I was going to 2 different high schools and had this apprenticeship experience that I was going to 2 times a week. And I'm honestly not sure if that would have been possible had I been a junior and had more classes, just because of the way that the Columbine schedule works. But thank you for helping me get through that. And also the other one was getting the college credit, because I sort of had a loophole, I guess. I'm going to the University of Colorado Denver as an apprentice, and then I'm going to Red Rocks as a student, and CU Denver cannot pay Red Rocks directly, so I had to figure out all the details. So it was just sort of a part of CareerWise being a new program and figuring out all these details for the first time, but it worked out and was able to get through it, just having the right people to help me get through it.
I would echo that scheduling was a bit of a struggle, not just in terms of when we would have them available, but having accountability for when they weren't there. While they're not an employee and they're not dedicated to a particular group or resident care, we may be depending on them for other things like assisting on an outing or another special event. And if we're short those extra hands to push a wheelchair, that may be somebody who doesn't get to participate in the fullest extent possible.
I was going to add, organizationally, we have some things to consider and work through as a new program. When Dylan started with us, he was 17, so as a minor, there are some regulations and state things we need to think about from an employment perspective and communication perspective. We couldn't just, drive Dylan across town to go to Andrew's medical campus with us and things like that. So there were a lot of, I think, growing pains with that type of work as well.
I would definitely agree with that because I'm also only 17 and there's a lot of confidentiality and laws surrounding especially juvenile cases. So I'm not allowed to sit in on a juvenile meeting with a probation officer. I'm not allowed to go right along in a police car, those sorts of things. I think I still get to see a lot, but not everything just because of the age. And also definitely getting the schedule because it's a lot of hours, but it's also something that's important, so that has to be a priority. But you just have to shift your schedule around to get it to work out. So.
One of the biggest challenges to adapt to was definitely the weekly schedule, but not in a bad way. On Mondays and Fridays, I would be at school, and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I was at my internship. The difficulty in this is balancing my work assignments in school along with the work that I was doing at my internship. It took a little bit to get used to, but it's what I needed. Traditional school was not the right way for me to go. Having the variety in my days definitely helped go to my success.
And I think that one of the things for us was we really didn't have clear expectations on the amount of effort that it would take, and while it's worth it, it does take significant work to do it correctly. The planning, the training, the thinking about how you do integrate people in. So I think it's really important from an organization that you set clear expectations. One other thing is that I think this is, it was kind of a quirky thing, but I think it's turned out quite well, is Rick and I kind of split duties with Dylan. So maybe I offer, although Rick is an excellent mentor, but maybe mine is more of a coaching, and Rick does more technical types of things. So splitting that, while it might not have initially sound ideal, I think has some advantages as well. But again, I think it's just understanding what the effort is to do it the right way and make sure your organization buys into that.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, we are going to open it up for any questions from our audience. Can I have a runner, please? Thank you, Ms. Warren.
Any more steps?
Is there a statewide organization or even a regional organization that provides consulting / training to employers that want to set up an internship program? And also one that might, I think would be valuable on both sides to get support from both to employers who want to set it up, to schools that want to set it up, and also to involve students and get their feedback regarding their experiences. Is there anybody that's kind of taking that on and providing the kind of support that many times, because everybody talks about the lack of time it takes to set up an internship program, how can we short circuit that so that employers are able to, internalize that?
Guys all have anything to that? I can share some stuff. I can actually get someone from the state to answer some of that too.
I was going to say, we're participants in the process. I have to say, I don't know of anything, so we'll turn to our other experts, but I think for us, I think that's the space that CareerWise stepped in and helped us at least with the connection part. Now, as far as how do we as an organization plan and manage a process of onboarding interns and apprentices and what are some strategies in that space, I don't know of anyone.
Well, CareerWise did provide training though to us for the process and make recommendations, and I think that they continue to grow in that space. So we went through, I can't even remember how many days, but we went through several training periods with them for how to bring on board Dylan.
And then I'm going to use my favorite card in the audience. So this is Melissa Martin, who works for the state for community college system and is actually working on this work-based learning work. So I'm going to pass it to her.
Thank you. I think it's the first time in my life I've been introduced as the state. Mostly concerned, so I'm gonna pull the village in here. So Jim, I think that was a great question. It has a number of different parts to the answer. And I would say that no one organization is lifting all aspects of work-based learning. I think there's a network that is coalesced through the Talent Found, which represents partners in the room. So Dave here with CareerWise, if you want to raise your hand. I see Andy with CDE. I see Danny with Succeeds in the audience. I'm sure there's a number of partners in the audience that I'm missing as well, but I think that really it's a combination and a coalition of different voices to make sure that we pull in K-12 education, post-secondary education. I sit with the state career and technical education team as well as the community college system office, so pulling in our perspectives, CareerWise perspective for sure, Succeeds in their work. So I think that it's a coalition at this point because as these folks have already said, you know, between an apprenticeship and an internship and the age and the law and the legalities and the training and preparation, there's a whole lot of different parts and pieces that require the expertise from different both state level agencies as well as community partners. And anybody in the audience who I just called out or missed, anything I missed in there?
And the only thing I would add is that Jefferson County knows that this is a little bit difficult as we start to engage in this type of work, which is why we put the money behind having a team to help support our businesses and bringing these things to their sites. We also work closely with Junior Achievement and with the Boy Scouts because they have some programs that are helping our industries figure things out. Arvada Works, if you haven't seen Tammy Welch's session today around Arvada Works, that's a great example too of how we're trying to partner to help our industries learn how can you take some internships in those positions.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I'm telling you, exercise.
My question is for the students, and I'm wondering, from your experience, what is the reception of other students that you go to the traditional high school with? What is that reception been like? Is it something that other students you're finding are also interested in these opportunities? Is there any kind of negative reaction or feedback, or what's your experience been?
I've seen a lot of positive feedback throughout our school because they'll see us walking around with these shirts on, and they'll see us doing all of these cool things, and we do have a Facebook page, so we put some of our things on the Facebook page, and a lot of these kids are seeing the opportunities that we've been given, and the things that we're coming out of school with. Like, we're coming out with job experience, resumes that we put together ourselves, and just so many other things to help us after high school, and they want that too, so I've seen a lot of positive feedback.
I'm a pretty quiet guy, so at Columbine, not many people knew that I was actually an apprentice. I just wasn't around a lot, and I only had 2 classes fall semester, and then that was it for my senior year, so I didn't get much experience on that end. But with regards to Warren Tech, a lot more people were interested, and I think that goes to show, like, since Warren Tech is more of a vocational school, there's more of an interest in getting a job opportunity there. So.
So at my school, Career Explorer is more based towards at-risk kids, and that at-risk has a bad stigma around it. Like, everyone who hears at-risk, there's a bad stigma. So a lot of these kids are contacted by principals and counselors and school administration to try and get them on a better path, and it's up to them whether or not they want to take that opportunity. But a lot of people who, like I said earlier, see the shirts and like know of the program, they're coming to teachers who teach us and they're asking about it. They want something to do with it. And then they're referred to Ms. Marquez, and then she gets you into the process of joining our program at our school.
Ms. Marquez is at Weebridge, or she's the district person?
Weebridge.
She's joined our district team. So it's going to be based on that school, the counseling, what's happening at that school. We also partner with them to figure out what are those opportunities to meet the needs of the students. In Jefferson County, as you know, is a very large district, and so we encompass the entire county, and we partner with the schools in a variety of different ways.
Jeff, can I add something?
Please do.
Use my big teacher voice. It's everyone's job, right? So if you have a student that comes to you and they're like, yes, please, you know people who know people who know other people. So it's about facilitating that connection, and we're all in the room to help with that because we all know people, right? So I think when we hear this work, it's like, oh, that's so big, and how do we do it? You just do it. Like, you're standing in line at the King Supers, right? And you look behind you and you're like, oh, I know you, you know so-and-so. I have a student. We're constantly, this is always in our brains, right? So I don't know if that answers the question totally.
I'm a parent.
You're a parent, perfect. You can do it too. It's amazing. So if you're a young adult at your house, it's like, I want to do this. Oh my gosh, reach out to your social network, bring it back to the school and say, hey, and I'm probably talking out of turn, but I always do that anyway. So my student, you know, has a passion towards this. School, how do we make this work to meet my students' needs? It could be, yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
So I'm going to actually stop us because we're at time. So I would like for us all to give a warm, maybe even a standing ovation level